In the red corner, coming in at 8.45 inches and weighing 3.93 ounces, this is the Civivi Stormridge. In the blue corner, coming in at 9.13 inches overall length with a weight of 5.49 ounces, this is the Kizer Ursa Major. Two knobs enter, but only one gets crowned as the better budget badass fixed blade. This is KRIPPLEDOME. Let's get into the specs. First up, our Civivi Stormridge has an overall length of 8.45 inches, a straight back blade with a length of 3.92 inches, a handle length of 4.53 inches, handle thickness of 610 thousandths, and a blade stock thickness of 120 thousandths. The weight of our knife comes in at 3.93 ounces. That is the knife alone, and they do not list the weight of the sheath. Next up, our Kizer Ursa Major has an overall length of 9.13 inches, a clip point blade length of 4.43 inches, a handle length of 4.7 inches. We have does not list the handle thickness, but our blade stock thickness is 160 thousandths, and our weight with sheath is 5.49 ounces. Materials. Our Civivi Stormridge comes with 3 different options, all with NitroV blades at 58 to 60 HRC. There's this colorway you see here, a black G10 and black wash blade option, and a green canvas micarta with a stone-washed blade is an option. Whereas our Kizer Ursa Major, this one is NitroV, coming in at 60 to 62 HRC. That's going to hold its edge much better than the Civivi Stormridge with the same steel at a lower HRC, though the Civivi would be a little on the tougher side. The Kizer is offered in 3 blade steels, though. There is this NitroV with micarta pairing. You can get AEB-L with a stonewash finish with either green or black G10. And there's an Amazon exclusive that looks the best to me, and that has green micarta with a black washed D2 blade. I like the different options that the Ursa Major gives you, whether you prefer NitroV or AEB-L or want the edge retention of D2. And with that black wash, you shouldn't have corrosion issues. So overall, when it comes down to materials, I think that's a win for the Ursa Major. Price. Let's talk dollar bills. So, the Civivi Stormridge is currently available on Amazon for $89 for all 3 variants. The Kizer Ursa Major comes in between $49 and $79. So the most expensive version is this one right here, the NitroV and micarta at $79. The G10 and AEB-Ls come in at actually, I think they're on sale right now for $59 for those ones on Amazon. And the D2 and green micarta, my favorite variant, is coming in at only $49 today. So the Kizer Ursa Major smokes the Civivi when it comes to price and options. And their NitroV, I believe, is heat treated better and to a much better HRC. So when it comes to the dollar bills, y'all, the Kizer for the win. Let's talk sheaths. So the sheath for the Civivi Stormridge, fantastic positive retention. I'm trying to shake it without shaking that lanyard everywhere, and I don't get any rattle. It is both sheaths are going to be taco style sheaths, which if you followed the channel for any length of time, you know I prefer a taco style sheath, which is one piece of Kydex folded over instead of two pieces of Kydex bolted together with lashing points on both sides, because that makes quite a bigger package overall. Our push off, we have a nice thumb ramp to push off. The retention on this is very strong. I would actually say that it's too tight. It requires quite a bit to push it off, and it's not adjustable. The clip is the Civivi T-Lock, designed by Bob Terzula. You can adjust this for your different widths of belt. You can turn this. You can carry this as horizontally on your belt or scout style. And it has nice lockup. You squeeze the sides to pop it open. Huge clip though. Like, it's wider than the actual sheath, but good solid clip. Our Kizer sheath, like I said, also a taco. Fantastic positive retention. Zero shake or rattle. And a much better release on push off. It's plenty, the retention is strong, but it's much easier to get out when you push off than the Civivi Stormridge is. And we have a, off-brand Tek-Lok, the shorter style, or the narrow style, which I do like the narrow style better than the full square big one. This, just like the other clip, allows you to rotate the sheath on your belt and adjust for different belt sizes. Locks up. In this case, to release it, you push the bottom of the button, or the bottom of the button on the bottom of the clip. One thing that I dislike about this style in particular is I carry my knives horizontally on my belt, and so it points the clip down. And if I do it that way, when I sit down sometimes, this will press on my waist and open. Overall, I still prefer this clip to the full-size clip on the Civivi, but for both of these, I would get rid of these. I don't keep these on my sheaths, and I would rock these with either scout straps or an ulti clip. But overall, because of, both have a drainage hole, and the Kizer has more standard spaced lashing points, so it'll be a little easier with the different aftermarket clips to hook on there. And because of the ease of taking it out of the sheath, I'm going to give the nod to the Kizer Ursa Major on the sheath. Quick size comparison. You can see them compared to each other right here. Here is a Civivi Elementum fixed blade, and the Elementum fixed blade is much closer in length to the Stormridge, but it's still shorter than the Stormridge. Another knife some of y'all are familiar with here is, by the way, here is what I mean by a pancake sheath. Notice the difference in width versus a taco sheath. Another knife that you guys are familiar with is the Countycom R4A, or Ready for Action, which is going to be almost the exact same size as the Stormridge and just slightly shorter than the Ursa Major. I'll give you one more size comparison with another knife a lot of folks are familiar with. How about the Spyderco PM2 Wharncliffe Rendition, which is going to be shorter than our Kizer Ursa Major and just slightly shorter than the Civivi Stormridge. So the Civivi Stormridge is just a little bit bigger than an open PM2. That should give you a good idea of the size of these blades. Talk ergos. We're going to start with the Kizer Ursa Major in this case. And I wear an extra large size glove. And as you can see, I have plenty of room behind that finger guard. And I can choke back for some reach. In a saber grip, that jimping, even though it's kind of softer, it's still locking me in really nicely. The sides up front here are scalloped down really nicely for a pinch grip. So if you're using this, this is intended to be a hunting knife, an outdoors knife. If you're using this for skinning or if you're in a pinch grip to cut downwards, it is very comfortable. It also is comfortable to pinch there and throw my finger up here for some control. Turning this around if I had to do some chest lever cuts or cut towards me, very comfortable. With this gearing back here in a Beef Jerky Avenger grip, I am absolutely locked in and capped off, and I don't feel like this is going anywhere. Micarta gets grippier as it gets wet. And in a Beef Jerky Avenger grip, I am still capped off and very comfortable. We have slightly contoured scales that are chamfered very well everywhere that they should be, rounded off comfortably at the top. And then, of course, like I said, we've got that beautiful scallop part up front. The Civivi Stormridge, a little, designed a little bit more as a tactical fixed blade, but this could pull roll double duty as an outdoor knife, while the Ursa Major could pull double duty as a tactical blade. This has contoured an hourglass scalloped G10 that does feel, there we go, words, folks. Very comfortable in hand. I definitely don't have as much room on that handles. If you were wearing a 2X or a 3X glove, it might be a little tight for you. Definitely not as much room to choke back on it. But in a saber grip, I am locked in with that jimping and that ramp. I can put my thumb up here on this jimping and really feel locked in. It's not scalloped up here, but it's still comfortable enough for a pinch grip or a utility style grip. I can turn it around to cut towards me. The ergos aren't as good for that. This stupid lanyard. This in a Beef Jerky Avenger grip, I'm capped off, and this actually feels very comfortable, especially with that hourglass sculpting on the handle. And then in a Beef Jerky Defender grip, I am still capped off. And again, that hourglass sculpting feels good in hand. This is definitely, like a thrusting style knife. And in this grip, it is pretty comfortable. But I gotta say that the Ursa Major is much more comfortable in many different grips. And the addition of the scallop up front is just a game changer for doing anything from hunting to EDC style tasks. I definitely gotta side with the Kizer on the ergos. X Factors. For the Civivi, I definitely like how we've got jimping here along the spine of the blade towards the back as well, and underneath we have jimping front and back, which really does allow me to lock in very well. I think both of these are rocking all T8s. Yes. Okay, cool. Our plunge grind on this starts here and tapers to right about here. So we have a ton of sharpening. Yeah, so we have a ton of sharpening life on that NitroV. Overall, there's fewer X factors that I can find for the Stormridge than the Ursa Major. We'll also check the plunge grind on this, which starts here, and it's a long taper. We do have some sharpening life here, but eventually you probably will need to widen that a little bit. I would say the sharpening choil is done better on the Civivi, but the Ursa Major adds a lot of different capabilities to the knife with just these holes in the tang. These allow us to, you can put a thong or a lanyard around here and around your wrist for keeping the knife in your hand while swinging it. You can put one back here and around your wrist so that, if you drop the knife, you don't lose it. You can put a lanyard up here if you want. You can use these to lash this to a long stick or a pole to create a spear or get you some reach. We have a 1/4-inch bit driver in the end here, which, you're not pulling out a big ass knife to drive bits normally, but it's nice to have that added capability. We still have the jimping back here like we did on the Stormridge, but not underneath. But the ergos on this actually don't feel like I really need it. Before we get to the verdict, I gotta give a huge shout out to my brother, Neil Mudd, my homie Mudd, because he loaned me both of these knives. He just got these and loaned me both of them so that I could do this review. So big shout out, much love, brother. Appreciate you. So who wins? Normally by this point, you've probably got a decent idea of who I'm gonna pick. But today there hasn't been a whole lot of suspense, has there? While the Stormridge is a nice knife for its intended purposes, and it's well made, the Kizer Ursa Major just really comes in first round knockout. And whether we are talking the beautiful ergos, the better price, the hollow grind, the 90-degree spine, the Ursa Major does it better. And that's why the Kizer Ursa Major, designed by Maksim Epifantsev, is today's KRIPPLEDOME champion. What do you think? Who's your winner? I hope y'all have a killer day, night, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay frosty, stay deadly.